Guys, it's Kara from iStampin.com. I'm back for another fun project using some retiring products that will be available through Monday. It's June 1st, if you can believe it. So happy first day of June. Brand new month, which means a new host code, a brand new set of Stampin' Anonymous tutorials. I'm so excited for y'all to see the fun projects that we made for the Stampin' Anonymous tutorials. And just as a reminder, when you shop in my online store this month, you will see access to that. So I will be sending that to you later in the month via email. But today's project, it's going to be a little bit different just because I ran out of the Share What You Love Designer Series paper. I actually used it all up. So I'm going to be using the Needlepoint Nook Designer Series paper. You can find this in our Occasions catalog, and this is retiring as well. But the bundle that I am using, and well, it's not a bundle anymore. It is separate. It's the Apron of Love stamp set along with the Apron Builder framelits. I'm so sad to see this going. I've used this a few times. I wish I had used it more, but so I wanted to feature it one last time before it's gone. And this is just an absolutely darling card. I'm going to show you how to make it. Like I said, I'm going to change up the Designer Series paper, which I already showed you, and I'm also changing up the embossing fold. This card, I use the Climbing Vine embossing folder that is retiring. For today's card, I'm going to be using the Quilt Top embossing folder. This one here, which I thought worked perfectly with the Needlepoint Nook Designer Series paper. The Quilt Top is also retiring. So I'm just using some of those last minute items that you can still get. Most of these items are now on sale. You can find all of that if you head on over to iStampin.com. The project that I made yesterday, there's a blog post that you're able to click on the PDF from the occasions as well as from the annual catalog, and you can see those items that are on sale. So let's get started. So again, you're going to need the Apron of Love stamp set along with the Builder framelit dies. I've already showed you this. The Designer Series paper, this is Needlepoint Nook. This is in our Occasions catalog. And I'm going to be making a custom size envelope because the note card that we're going to be using is Crumb Cake. We no longer carry the note card size, so you have to make your own, which means you also have to make your own envelope, which is perfect, fine by me because I love making custom envelopes. But the Crumb Cake piece of cardstock measures 5 by 7, and we're going to score this at 3.5. So here's my Simply Score tool, and Crumb Cake's one of my favorite colors. So I don't mind having to make my own envelopes, though the envelope punch board is also one of the items retiring. Not quite sure what I'm going to do now. So fold, and let's burnish this with the bone folder. I have cut another piece of Crumb Cake cardstock. This is what I'm going to be embossing using the Quilt Top embossing folder. This is just a 1/4 inch smaller, so this is 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and I'm not sure if I told you this when it's folded. It's 3 1/2 by 5. You will need a piece of Whisper White cardstock to do your stamping. I'm using Balmy Blue ink, and I'm picking that up from the Designer Series paper. I have done some of the die cutting already just because, just to save time, and I have chosen Poppy Parade for the apron and the little apron string, and then I die cut the kitchen utensils using Crumb Cake. So we've got these little utensils, and this comes all in one die. It's all one piece, so that's really nice. So you're not die cutting all these little small pieces. I probably won't use all of them, but and it looks like I'm missing something. Nope, that's it. And so we'll put all that together just a little bit later. And other than adhesive, baker's twine. We're going to be using Whisper White baker's twine to make the little bows at the top of the apron. So what I thought I would do is go ahead and do some of the die cutting. here is the framelit for the apron. So we can go ahead and do that first, and then we'll emboss. So let me grab my Big Shot. And speaking of the new catalog, that will be launching on Tuesday, June 4th. It's the year of 2019, just in case you're watching this on another year. But the catalog does launch June 4th, 2019. My preferred customers, y'all should be receiving them here. I sent them out last week, so I know some of y'all have already received them. If you would like to receive a copy of the catalog, just reach out to me and I'll touch base with you. Okay, so let me change the platform because we're gonna emboss. Use the Big Shot platform. And here is the Quilt Top embossing folder. Sad to see this one go. I'm always sad to see the items that I've enjoyed using retire. But you know, to be quite honest, once I get to start playing with the new items and the new catalog, I forget what I don't have anymore. So Stampin' Up's pretty ingenious with that. Do y'all feel the same way? And so that's what it looks like when it's embossed. Isn't that pretty? We're gonna need the Big Shot just one more time. We can go ahead and do that now. Get my stamp out. So I am using the stamp that says, "Thanks for being there in a pinch." I thought that was a cute saying. And I'm just gonna put that on. Let me grab my Stampin Pierce Mat. I feel like this is a must-have tool when using our photopolymer stamps. It just gives a really nice impression when you have that kind of cushion base underneath your paper. So there we go. So let me grab the matching framelit. So that's what that's going to be like. So it's just a little half circle. I went ahead and re-stamped it and die cut it because I felt like this one, that was too close. So that gives it a little bit more white at the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue on our apron string, so that will give it a couple of seconds to set up. And I'm going to use the Multipurpose liquid glue and just put a tiny dot on both ends of the apron string. Okay, I think that should be enough. And then I just kind of place the apron on there. I kind of pick it up from there. Whoops. And I find that a lot easier to put on that way. So there we go. And then this is just an absolutely darling little pocket. It has, you know, as you can see, it's scalloped with all these little holes. So I just take my paper piercer and just punched out all the holes. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this on top of the pocket. And since I just have the glue here, I'll go ahead and use that. And that's just gonna go like so. And with it being wet, you can kind of move it around with your fingers if you don't get it in the right place. Isn't that just darling? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to pop this up. And so you could use foam adhesive strips, you know, whatever you have handy. I'm just using Dimensionals. And because it's embossed, I'm going to go ahead and put down 7 of these little guys. just such a sweet card. Just a fun bundle. The designer series paper I just think is just perfect for this kind of card. Just with that whole handmade look. So it's gonna go something like that. So again, I'll just use glue. You can use snail, but since I'm just have this handy, might as well use that. And that's just gonna go right here centered in the card. And put a block on there, let that sit just for a couple of seconds. Okay, and then I'm going to be putting the cooking utensils behind the Poppy Parade, so I'm just going to be putting just adhesive just on the bottom part of the pocket because I want to be able to slide in those cute little utensils. And I'm going to go ahead and just, let's see, maybe I don't need to. No, I think I'll be good. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue behind these little cute little wooden spoons. And those are just going to slide in right there. And then let's use a little spatula. We'll go like so. And then I'm going to cut down this handle and use this other little spoon. And I'm going to kind of layer that on top of the spatula. Oops. Kind of go like that. So something like that. Move the, well, no, I'm not going to mess with it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, and then next I'm going to use some Whisper White Baker's Twine and just make some cute little bows. If you're wondering about this twine, this is from our Nature's Twine. This is carrying over into the new annual catalog. And this is a really thick twine. So what I did is I unraveled it and I just used like 2 or 3 strands to make those little tiny bows. And it was much more manageable. Just, if you try to do it just with that thicker strand, I don't think it's going to give you the little dainty look that you're looking for. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there. And this glue does dry clear once it's dried. I guess that's kind of redundant. Okay, and then looks like I'm all done with that. And I'll cut the tails in just a second after it sets up. My BOGO sale is going to start on June 4th. That's going to be open to all of my local customers. So if you are local to the Jacksonville, Florida area, I will have that starting on Tuesday the 4th, which is, like I had mentioned earlier, is also the day that the annual catalog goes live. So all those details will be sent out via newsletter on June 3rd. I'm having to rethink my start time. I was going to start it at 11 o'clock in the morning, but I forgot that I have a commitment that runs until 10 o'clock. So I'm thinking it's going to start more like around 12 o'clock on, on Tuesday the 4th. Then on Wednesday, June 5th, it's going to open up to all of my online customers and those who aren't able to make it to my house on the 4th. So like I said, if you are not getting my newsletter, make sure you head on over to istampin.com. At the very top of the homepage, there's like a place for you to put in your email address. Just sign up there and you will receive it. Okay, so I think that has had time to set up, and I've got my ribbon scissors here. So I'll just trim off the tails. I trimmed that one off just a little bit longer than I wanted to, so let me trim this one down now. There we go. Okay. And there is the card. Just how, oh my gosh, I love this. It's just darling. All you would need to do is just put in a piece of Whisper White cardstock the same size, and you can just write in your note. But let me show you the darling envelope that you'll make with this. So I am just using the same or a different piece of designer series paper. I'm going to be using the B side, so this is just some really fun red ticking. Let me cut this down, or let me show you the envelope punch board first. This is retiring. I'm sad to see this go because it's really a great tool. But here you can see all the different card sizes. It can make an envelope as small as 2 by 3.5 inch size card up to a 6 by 8.5 size card. So what you want to do is you want to find the size of the card that you have. We have a 3.5 by 5, so we are going to be cutting this paper 7.25 by 7.25. So this is a great way to use leftover designer series paper that you may have hanging around. Making your own envelopes is just perfect way. Okay, so after you've cut the size, it also tells you your very first score line. So we're going to start off at 3 1/8. So I'm going to put the paper right here at 3 1/8. Right here, it's a handy little bone folder. Because I'm left-handed, I have to kind of rotate it. But what you do, you're just going to do the same thing on all 4 sides. So you're going to score and you're going to punch. Okay, now what we're going to do is rotate it 1/4, and from here, this little tail, this is where you're going to line up your score line, and that's where we're going to score on the other 3 sides. So that first score line, whoops, all you have to be aware of is for your very first punch. And rotate it. Now with the designer series paper, you don't want to score too hard because you will have the tendency to actually tear the paper, so just be gentle. And one more time. Okay, and then we punch. And if you like your edges to be rounded like I do, you can just rotate it around and round those corners. So that's another neat, what's the word I'm looking for? Feature of the punch board. So now I'm just going to slip in my bone folder, and I like to use my regular one. And then what I like to do is just fold in the sides, or fold in all the flaps and burnish it with my bone folder. And then what I like to do is fold in the side flaps, put in a little bit of snail, and then just fold the top over. And there is your darling envelope. I mean, how sweet is that? Who would not love to receive something like this in the mail from the postman? It's double-sided. I just love it. I think this is just the sweetest thing. And I hope you have enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you have subscribed to my YouTube channel as well as my newsletter so that you can stay up to date with the latest happenings on iStampin.com. Again, this was using the Apron of Love stamp set with the matching builder framelits. These are retiring. The envelope punch board, the Quilt Top designer series paper, Quilt Top embossing folder, along with the Needlepoint Nook designer series paper. Those are all retiring and will not be available after June 3rd. So if you have any questions about any of the things that I used today, just comment below or reach out to me via email, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thanks, guys. Bye.